Electricast.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
Welcome into MTP Boston. It's your boys, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, Michael Marcangelo. We're here to talk a little bit about the Boston Celtics and how they started off the season cooking. And then we'll get to the depressing stuff. And we'll talk about the England Patriots, their great loss, which is what I will call it, against the Tennessee Titans, obviously in overtime. But first, Ray, Celtics season is in swing. We're now, 7 games in? Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about it, man?
They're a fucking wagon. Like, they're a wagon, and they're doing everything that we have been calling for them to do, just about. You know, just a real quick, as we're recording this on a Monday, I was mad about their shot selection. Right now, they were literally down 6 to Atlanta. Now, before the half, they're up 22. like it's literally Joe Mazzulla called a timeout, and they came back out and went on a 10-0 run. Like, that's
by the way, for 2 years, we were begging him to do that.
Right. And so now that he's on that, hey, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. You know, we did it. So I'm happy about that. But listen, they've been sensational, to use Marv Albert's word. They've been great. And the ball move has been great. Like I said, defensively, there's still some things left to be desired. And, we can tap into that. But once again, they're coming out swinging. And once again, they're getting team's best shot every night. We can't say, oh, it's because they're playing Charlotte, or they're playing Detroit, or they're playing Washington. Like, nah, like every team is coming out gunning. And, we're digging holes and taking souls, baby. So I love to see it.
Love that. A good Undertaker reference just never goes unnoticed by me. So good for you.
Yeah.
Last time you guys talked about the C's, they were going into that game against Indy. Obviously, they were down 21 points in the fourth quarter of that game. They brought it all the way back to lose 135-132. Obviously, that game was the best and the worst of the Celtics. I think they're going to have games every once in a while for us, right? That remind us of all the reasons why we were so pissed for the last 3 years before they won the championship. I think that was one of those games, right? Because clearly they're the better team. Undeniably, even without KP, they're the better team. They let their foot off the gas. They were settling for awful threes throughout that entire game. And then again, with 6 minutes left, they're down 21, and they just go on a run that we all know they can do all the time. It's a lot for us to ask for them to do it constantly.
That was insane though. Like, because like I said, me, Dave, and Bobby were like on the air while that was happening. And we was like, yeah, it's probably gonna be the first loss, because it was like 96-78 when we were recording. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, hey, and Indiana just came out swinging from the jump. Like they clearly get up for this game against the Celtics in recent years. So fine, whatever. Like that's just, they're just always gonna play us hard. I kind of feel like that's how Milwaukee used to do the Celtics during the KG, Paul, Ray, like Michael Redd, Brandon Jennings, those guys, like they, for some reason, just Charlie Bell. That's a next name drop for those that are old school basketball fans. But they always used to get up, and we just could never beat them, or never beat them, but it would always be a tough game. So when we were taping, and then at the end, I'm like, all right, good night, guys. And I see, I'm like, wait, I said, they fucking tied it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like they tied the game. I'm like, win or lose, like that's insane. So yeah, but like you said, it laments the points that we talked about. Like, oh, like, can you be engaged? Like, can you? And once again, you're gonna have quote unquote stinkers like that. But it just goes to show, like, yeah, you're definitely the Hunter. Once again, we thought they were the Hunter before, but you're absolutely the Hunter now with being the defending champion. So, but like I said, I love their response, right? I think that's something that you've been calling for as well. Like, show me your response. Once again, you can lose, but show me it's how you lose, right? It's how you lose. So I was fine with the fight they showed in that game. and then the bounce back, right? The response, right?
Yeah.
The response to Charlotte, and then what they're doing now currently in Atlanta. So I'm fine with where they are mentally. They're still following that motto, skipping no steps. So I'm appreciative of where they're at right now.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, it's nitpicking for me because
It's
obviously
valid.
this
It's
this
valid
team
though. It's not really.
this
It's valid. It's valid.
like this team's not going to go 82 and 0. Do I think they have enough talent? Yes, but would I
Yeah.
rather them take off 15 games throughout the course of the year so that they can save themselves for another run?
Hmm.
Absolutely. But there's something to knowing that you just have to maybe don't let your foot off the pedal for 42 minutes, but this team might be able to get by not playing as hard as they possibly can for 38 minutes a night against some teams and then just waxing them whenever they want to.
Hmm. Right.
Now,
Right.
I'd prefer that happens at the beginning of the game as opposed to
Right.
the end. But nonetheless, you talked about the response. They then follow that up with the back-to-back wins against Charlotte, our old friend Grant Williams. Obviously, in that first game, there was a wild contact, a foul. And so I want to ask you a question.
Hmm.
Are we blowing this out of proportion? And I asked that in the context. Yes, he put himself in a position to make contact with Tatum, obviously. But Tatum did act like he was shot out of a cannon. And if you go back and watch the slow motion, it wasn't that. It really wasn't that bad. So, like, if this was again, I sound awful. If this is 1996. That probably wasn't even a foul.
No, but so no, so that context, that part matters. Yes, we grew up in that era in the 2000s, even where it was still rough and rugged basketball. Fine, cool. That's not my beef with that. It was now if this was something where he had scored 20 in a row and you want to send a message, that's different. Okay, I can kind of get that concept that was the case. This wasn't that case. The game was over because they started to unravel in that fourth quarter. Technical
Yeah.
fouls, LaMelo Ball fouling 30 feet from the basket. Like they literally unraveled as the game unfolded in the fourth quarter, which led to the Celtics 15-point win. So I'm just like at that moment of the game, it's one thing to kind of slap at the ball or give him a little shrug. Okay, cool. It just simply wasn't a basketball play. That's why it's gotten the attention that it got. And it's like, yo, like JB said, he's like, yo, you talk about that you cool. You said that you cool with the dude. Like, it's one thing if you're talking shit. Once again, you're gonna talk like I said, me and you talk shit all the time. That's different. There's no way I'm going out my way to intentionally harm you physically. Like, that's insane.
So
It's
wait,
insane.
you think that's what he was doing?
And that moment, absolutely. Because once again, we've seen him do dumb stuff here in Boston, but because he was in a Celtic uniform, we kind of swept it under the rug outside of the thing that happened in Cleveland where it's like, I'll make them both. Let you be let you be known for dumb stuff like that where you're saying I'll make both or whatever. Like, once again, remember, I'm the one that
When you
defended
talk
him
shit,
on
or when you
oh,
talk shit to Jimmy Butler?
right, yeah, exactly. I defended that way because I was like, it was a whole don't poke the bear. I'm like, no, fuck that. Get in the face. So that type of stuff, cool. I'm with that. But to someone that you say is your boy, someone that's your friend, your brother, whatever word you want to use there as a term of endearment. And then once again, you make a non-basketball play. And even once again, when you have me when you have me agreeing with Draymond Green, it's a problem. Like the fact that like because Draymond was like, and then this was kind of funny. I don't know if he was being serious, but I found it funny. Draymond was like, yeah, he's mad when boys win a ring.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
he wants to
probably.
win. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like that makes a lot of sense because once again, jealousy shows up in different ways, right? And once again, I just think that it was looking real sweet out there for Boston Friday and Saturday, especially Friday night. And I
Yeah.
think he lost his head in that moment, and it got the best of him. But yeah, I don't think it's being blown out of proportion. I just think once again, it wasn't a basketball play. So if he was going to the rim, give him a little forearm shiver, cool, because you ain't supposed to let him get to the basket. I'm fine with that. But like JB said, my man was out here looking like Ray Lewis, and I was like, hey,
Well,
New England, you can sign him up.
okay.
Sign him up.
That's why I want to. He's Sean Merriman, friend of the show. That's why I want to
Yeah,
take a step back. Like if you go back and you just watch the replay of it,
yeah.
there was some pretty good acting by Tatum. Like he flopped. he definitely flopped. Now, Grant Williams is just too uncoordinated and too much of a a fucking bozo to stop
Mhm.
his own momentum. But from it, because when I first saw it, I was like, "That's such a cheap shot. Why would you do that?" And then I went back and watched the replay, and I was like, "Oh." So, oh, yeah, it was still bad, but I just don't think I don't think Grant was trying to hurt him at all. I really don't.
No, I don't think it was trying to hurt him. I'm saying, but either way, whether you're trying to hurt him or not, Jason Tatum shouldn't have to be Shawn Michaels from the '05 SummerSlam out there. I don't want that. I don't want the oversell. I don't want that. I'm sorry. That we shouldn't even be in that position. Like
I
you're
agree.
getting smoked at that moment. You're getting smoked at that moment. Take your L and be ready for tomorrow night. It's that simple. It's that simple. Like I don't know. And so I mean, you've been to Celtics games, whatever. I don't know if you ever had a chance to see Grant Williams up close. He's not a little dude. That's why Derek was
Right.
like, Derek White was like his ass is too big to be doing stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's reckless. But he's not a little guy. He's six
Right.
six, 6'7".
No, he's a
They
big
say
guy.
they say 230. I'm like, he's a little more than 230, but it's like he's not yeah, and he's put together physically. So yeah, could there have been some embellishment? Sure. But I don't like the fact that like I said, it got to that point. Once again, you want to slap on a wrist, you want to give a little shiver. Cool, whatever. But we shouldn't be out here, like I said, it should not be Shawn Michaels certified SummerSlam, jumping over the turnbuckle, like come on. That's insane. That's wild. Once again, if you know what I'm referring to, but it's like it's wild. It's out of control.
100%. So in game two, obviously there are no incidents in the game. There's no Jaylen Brown. He sat out with
Mhm.
like a hip flexor strain. But one of the telltale signs of being a wagon is you can miss one of your top two players, even if it's against a team that you don't believe is up to your standards, and you still jump out to what was it? It's a 19-point lead in the second quarter, and
Mhm.
that game was just never in doubt
Right.
ever, except I think it was the third quarter, right, when Charlotte was going on a run, and uh, they were doing pretty well, and then Drew Holiday just stuck a three right in their face to end their run, and
Yep.
then the Celtics go back up by double digits. So through 7 games, we are recording this as they're playing Atlanta. Through
Mhm.
7 games, JT's averaging 30 points a night. We just
Mhm.
ask you a question: is he on that MVP warpath?
I hope so. Even though like I said, I don't particularly care about him winning the regular season MVP. I'd rather
Yeah, but he
uh,
does.
him. No, I know. Of course, no, I know. I'm saying, I know he does. Yeah, I know he does. I'm saying as a fan, I don't care. I just want him to get back to the finals and potentially win it. Right. That's my goal for him because winning one, yeah, that's great. But when you get two or more, it puts you in a different category. And he's that level of player. JB's that level of a player. So I feel like they'll be looked at differently in history because not too many from this era go back to back. So I think the last one was Golden State, and then before that it was the Lakers in 09 and 010. So yeah, I
Wait, didn't no, the Heat won back to back.
Oh, I'm
They
sorry.
won.
Yes, that's yes. Whew. Yeah, for the for the LeBron,
Whoa,
LeBron.
not five, not
Yeah, sorry,
six.
my bad. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. I try to erase that because we lost in the conference finals today, but it's okay.
Sure did.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, I think that he's been on a tear. I think that like I said on the previous show, thank you, Steve Kerr. I cannot wait till Wednesday night because I said, I'll be in the building. I don't know where I'll be posted. But I cannot wait because that crowd is going to be insane. It's going to be F Steve Kerr from the jump. Like as soon as they get off the bus on level 3, it's gonna be madness. It's like so I can't wait. But as far as him and his play, I love what he's been doing. My only critique, and I'm sure you would have the same critique because sometimes we do look at things the same way in that regard with him. I would like a little bit less from the 3,
Oh yeah,
because he's getting to the line. I'm like, bro, you're getting to the line. He shot 13 free throws the other night. I'm like, yo, that's just get to the cup. No one can stay in front of you. Get to the cup. Then once they're caving in, then you build out to the 19 feet, then build out to the 3. Like go inside first, then go out. So that's I want a little bit more of that. He's doing that tonight. He had 16 in the first tonight. So And I'm like, yes, that's the balance. Like, just just keep it balanced because no one can guard you, bro. No one can
Right.
guard you in the NBA
Like
when you're on like that. So, but yeah, love what I see for him and hope that he continues that path. Like it's
my one
MVP.
critique of his game, but I think the more that I think about it, it just really isn't him. It's this era of the NBA is he has to shoot terribly out of 9, like 10 threes to realize that it's not his night and then actually start going for the mid-range and pushing it to the cup. Like
Mhm.
he was 1 of 9 from 3 against Charlotte. But like to your point, he was I think 13 of 15 from free throw. Like
Right,
that's just do that, man. Like make them
right,
send you to the line because contrary to, popular belief, he's a damn good free throw shooter.
right, right.
And so is Jalen Brown after he misses the first 2. And then like he's lights out. But I
Right,
promise you, if it's a
right.
pressure situation or if it's a playoff game, Jalen
He's gonna
Brown's
make
gonna
it.
miss
Yeah.
that first one.
Yep.
But Jalen Brown's gonna miss that first one. Talk to me about some of your surprises so far from the season. Because I mean, I think I have
Um,
one, but I don't know if it's the same one.
the biggest surprise is probably the play of Luke Kornet.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I think that he's been awesome. And you know, they obviously they're missing Porzingis and Horford doesn't play back to back games. And he's kind of have a semi slow start. But Luke Kornet has been awesome. Like I said, I think he had 19 the other night in Charlotte. And it's really, the transition has been seamless with him in there. I don't love him in pick and rolls still, but offensively, he's been really good getting to the rim. He's been a rim threat because, like I said, he catches lobs at the rim. So, yeah, what he's been able to do in Porzingis' absence has been awesome. And like I said, if you can continue to get that, you're in good shape until Porzingis comes back in December or even January.
Yeah, I think the combination of Cornette, who was half of my surprise, and
Mhm.
Kada this year
Yeah.
have just been like
Well,
that's been outstanding.
well,
They've been given Horford the minutes that he needs to take off, right? They're not. I mean, and the points in the paint are not spiking when those two are in the game. It feels like Kada's a actual good shot defender and rim defender,
yeah.
and they're still which. And if you're talking about without Keith, that was going to be something that was going to be something that I thought that they were going to lack.
Mhm.
Man, I love Kada. I'm not a big Cornet guy, but I think he's filling in a role. But Pritchard, man, Payton Pritchard has had a banger of the first 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, as you asked if JT was on the MVP warpath. He looks to be on the 6 man of the year warpath, and I'm here for it. Eddie House made a good point about him being or becoming the leader of the second unit. And obviously, with him, Hauser, Tillman, Kada, it'll eventually be Horford once KP comes back. But yeah, he's Pritchard's been great, man. And shout out to Bobby on our show. Like Bobby had been in his corner day
Well,
one.
hold on. Time out, time out. I don't want to go against Bobby here because he's my boy. You know, I love him. Although you wouldn't know that if you listen to any show that I'm on with him.
Right.
But if he is going to get credit for calling Peyton Pritchard the Rookie of the Year candidate 3 years ago, then I
When I
should
was
also
yeah, said that he was gonna become a good player.
get credit for saying that the Detroit Lions were going to be great in 2020. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Same time frame. Same time frame.
Oh my God. Sure. I mean, why not? Right? They both became powerhouses. Great, awesome. I mean, listen, Church killing it.
But we're calling them a powerhouse now.
Yeah, but yeah, powers. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on in the week with the Power Ranking show. But so stay tuned for that. Big market sees there. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with me with Derek White, right? Remember, like I said, I'm the one that was like, hey, like he's gonna be X, Y, and Z. So obviously these takes weren't uh they weren't so relevant in the moment, but over time it's become true. So yeah, like I said, I love what Pritchard's been able to do. Once again, his approach to the game is awesome, and he's making sure that hey, yeah, we got JT and JB and Al, and y'all talk about our starting five, but you know I'm a key contributor, and
Yep.
he's been awesome. So I hope that he continues it. because he's a big contributor and a big part of what they need to do, not just for the regular season, but obviously for their chances of repeating.
So coming up this week, including today, the Celtics got Atlanta, they got Golden State, they got Brooklyn, and they got Milwaukee. How do you expect them, like, out of these next 4 games? Are you thinking 4-0, or what do you expect to see out of them in the next week?
I can see Milwaukee finding a way to win on Sunday out there. It's an
Really?
early game Sunday. Yeah, it's an early game Sunday. They're in the dogfight again right now with Cleveland again because they lost to Cleveland Saturday night, but they're up 111 to 110 against Cleveland right now. They've been right there in some of their games. I mean, we blew them out the building. Well, I would say blew them out the building. It got ugly late. That game was close until the fourth quarter. But when you have Dame and Giannis, you're gonna have a shot. I'm not I'm not gonna sit here and be hyperbolic right now and act like the season's already over because it's not. But they're in trouble right now. Right now they're in trouble. But Alex, I can see them finding a way. But I do expect 4-0. I do because I just feel like if this team is healthy or healthy as they can be, it just won't matter. And I know JB has that hip flexor thing that's been going on. He's looking for a second opinion. Personally, I think that they just have him resting for the Golden State game, which is on Wednesday. The Golden State game is the only game I care about out the 4. Honestly, that's coming up. I don't care about Brooklyn. I don't care about the Milwaukee games. I just that Golden State game. I'm ready for blood, and I hope they beat them by 40. Like I just
So
did.
you're expecting the Garden to treat Steve Kerr like they treated Kyrie the last couple years?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Like I'm talking about as soon as you hear Eddie Palladino say, please welcome to the floor, the Golden State Warriors. And when they, because I now because you got me in that most, and I just got to go through the introductions. I forget their whole starting lineup, but I'll name a few guys. But it's just like hey, at forward, you know, 12th year out of Michigan State, number 23, Jamar Green. They'll boo him a little bit. At the other forward position, from Oklahoma, number 7, Buddy Hield. At guard from Davidson in his 15th year. Stephen Curry, and they'll be mixed because he draws there's a lot of fans that come in and
He's
watch him.
hard to boo. He's
He's
a
hard
hard
to
guy to
boo.
hate
And then they'll say, and the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr.
instantly.
And instantly, the boos are going to be super loud. And it's as the Celtics are being introduced, you're going to be literally hearing, fuck Steve Kerr, fuck Steve Kerr, fuck Steve Kerr. And then you'll hear, and now introducing the world champion Boston Celtics. And when you hear that, and from Duke, number 0, Jayson Tatum. Like that crowd's gonna. Yeah, listen. I got chills even thinking about it. Like I want a 40 piece. Like I leave no fucking doubt. Like I want it to be like 51 to like 20 in the first quarter. Like I have not wanted a regular season game this badly in a long time. Long time. Like I'm hyped for Thursday.
So,
Like I'm
what
gonna
does
say
it
Tuesday.
say? What would it mean, or what does it say about them in your mind if they come up flat for that game and they lose?
That Steph Curry is still Steph Curry when he wants to be. And once again, he's a 4-time champion himself, so it's not like
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
just.
Well, let's just say
Um,
Tatum.
I mean,
Tatum puts up
they came out
18
playing really
points.
well. They're not a bad team this year, but they have been. And after they won the championship, like they were kind of shaky, last year. But no, they Buddy Hield has done everything that Klay Thompson's been doing. And once again, people can say, oh, he's talking reckless. Once again, look at the numbers. So far, he's done everything that Klay Thompson has done in recent memory. So that's not an opinion. That's a fact. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So he's been doing great. Andrew Wiggins, he's been kind of shaky, but Kuminga has been awesome. Moses Moody has been awesome. Kevin Looney has been a staple for them for a while. He's been there since they won, I think, in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they got some good pieces that are starting to figure it out. So they better bring it. And remember, we beat them by 50 last time when they came here. We lost out there, but when that game was over in the first quarter. That was on
Yep.
Sunday afternoon. I'll never forget it. And that game was over in the first quarter. I was like, this is unbelievable. Like it was
So
like 41-19 at the end of the first. I was like, whoa. So
I think I think 4-0 is in play, but I think they're gonna get up for that game. I do think they're gonna show up for Golden State. That's
Mhm.
gonna be that atmosphere is gonna be amazing. I think they're gonna drop the Brooklyn game. If there's one
Really?
game, they shouldn't. But if there's one game in this stretch, I mean, this team feels like
Kinda
a team that
it'd be a
shows.
letdown, you feel like?
Yeah,
Letdown?
this team feels like it's a team that shows up for prime time. So even if it's Sunday at 3:30 but that's an actually televised game against the Bucks. And what I love most about this Boston Celtics team is that they love beating Doc Rivers. They
Yeah.
just do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
JT and JB love doing that, which is why I love them so much. So
Mhm.
I just don't see them losing a nationally televised game. I really
Mhm.
don't. It really doesn't matter who the opponent is.
I mean, I mean, once again, if there's a picture that exemplifies what their year meeting Milwaukee has been so far, and I said it on the last show, when Payton Pritchard hit that three to end the third last Monday night, and like I said, you see Doc Rivers just leaning over, um, and it was just like it was poetry in motion. Like it was great, it was awesome. So yeah, I mean, once again, I would love to be proven wrong, and they go in there and say, hey, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like it don't matter. I'm better than you, and you know it. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So I'm just like that's just what it is. So yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, I mean, huh, I didn't really think about the Brooklyn game like that, but like Cam Thomas is a bucket. Dennis Schroeder, for whatever reason, has got a resurgence in Brooklyn. I don't know what's going on. Dude is getting like 20 and 10. I mean, I don't think that's what he's averaging, but he's had a few games where he's had over 30. I'm just like, like, what? Like, in year 10, like, where's this coming from? So, like I said, Cam Thomas is a bucket. Dennis Schroeder's been a bucket. Ben Simmons is looking, he's becoming the facilitator he was in Philly. Obviously, he's never been a scorer, but
But
he's been,
can't shoot.
yeah, so still can't shoot, but when he was right, better, there wasn't too many better passers than him, which is why those guys are getting open looks. So, like I said, they got some guys that can play, but like I said, I'm not overly concerned. But like you said, now when I think about it, yeah, Cam Thomas can randomly go for 40 and just like, what the fuck is going on? And they just say, hey, let's not worry
'Cause
about this now. Let's worry about Milwaukee. So I
there
okay,
are
I
gonna
can see.
be there are gonna be those odd combinations this season when it's a tough game for the Celtics to get up for, but every team that plays us, like you said, is gonna be getting up to play the Celtics, right? So there are gonna be some of those letdown games. And, you know, everything that you just said, but I will just reiterate what I said 2.5 years ago. Ben Simmons would be in the Basketball Hall of Fame if there were no basket. I mean, I've
There, I remember that show, and I was like, that's like it wasn't. It's as equally as funny now as it was then, and I'm just like, it sucks that that's so accurate. Like it sucks because the thing is, I'm
right.
like early in Philly, he was good for 15, 8, and 7, which that's a really good stat line. And I'm just like, what happened to you mentally that you could even Markel Fultz bounce back from what he was at? So Markel Fultz came back as the number one pick, and after all the injuries he had, and they changed his jump shot, and he was looking crazy. He comes to Orlando, has a resurgence in his career. So I'm just like, yo, Ben Simmons, you're 6'10", a 6'10" guard, and you tell me you can't get 10, 7, and 5 at least? Because he should, once again, the assist numbers are still there. Like I say, he's just not looking to score. But I'm like, bro, when he's right, not too many people can stay in front of him. So I'm just like,
Yep.
he's still 27. It's not like it's not like he's 31, 32. He's 27 years old. So I'm just like, what is going on? So it's obviously still mental, but I mean, once again, it's the same that, like I said, how far he's fallen off. But oh well. So hopefully beat him by 30.
Yep, I'm with you there now. I just want to plagiarize. So shout out to my boy Dylan for coming up with that line. We were out for drinks one night, and he just said
Yeah.
that, and I literally said out loud, "That's one of the best things I've ever heard." I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal it. I did,
Yep.
and he's right. And still, 2.5 years later, he's right. It's still the truth. Um, anything else that you want to talk about the Celtics while we're still happy, or shall we
No,
just
I mean,
get ready?
listen, no, listen, Dave, no, to wrap it, like they've been awesome. And yeah, I still think that they obviously haven't hit their ceiling yet. Like they're just coming out and they're not skipping any steps. So I hope that they continue to not skip steps and just give the game every night what it requires. But once again, you can't control your shot making. You can't control a lot of things on the court, but you can always control your effort. So bring the effort, bring that consistency every night. Continue to move the ball, and good things will happen. Like I said, once again, they're up right now. 4 minutes left in the third. They're up 94-66. Like unbelievable,
Yep.
unbelievable. Once
Love
again,
that for us.
it was 41. It was 41-38. 41-38 Atlanta. And just like that, they've scored
Whatever they
20.
want.
They scored 28 points from that moment. 53-28 or 53-50. I'm like, that's unreal. Unreal. Professional team. Trae Young's out there. It's not like Trae Young's on the bench. Trae Young's out there, and we're missing Brown, Porzingis, and you're losing by 30. Wow.
In the third.
In the third. Right. So
Yep.
unreal. Unreal.
So from the highs of talking about the reigning defending 2024 NBA World Champion Boston Celtics to the lows of Rayshawn Buchanan's New England Patriots, they lose 20-17 in overtime to those Titans from Tennessee. Just the toughest opponent ever. Drake May had to do everything in his fucking power to force overtime. And because he understands, it looked like the game plan understands it too, he needs to be absolutely perfect and Herculean for us to win. He throws a disastrous interception in overtime to end it. Obviously, another stat before I turn it over to you, Ray. It showed up on CBS. I don't know if you were watching the game. It said, this is the most that a quarterback has rushed for the New England Patriots since Steve Grogan.
Okay.
If that is your stat, you're not doing well. I'm
Right.
sorry. I love Grogan, but aside from the 76 team, that's it. And he was the backup in 85 against the Bears. But if you're being compared to Patriot quarterbacks from 1970s, we're not in a good spot. So what were your takeaways from that game? Give me your positives, your negatives. Give it all to me, Ray. I want to hear it all.
I mean, well, quick aside before I get to that, like, if he was compared to Jim Plunkett, that'd have been cool. But Jim Plunkett just didn't win here. He won in Oakland. So he was a decent quarterback at the time.
How about let's be compared to Tom Brady from now on, or Drew Bledsoe? I'll take those two.
Sure, but it's just like that's a lot early on. I feel like, but listen, that final drive felt like it. That final drive felt like Drew and Tom, because I said I conceded. I was like, say I don't think that they find a way to tie this shit up, and I'm like, I see him basically doing, Brett Favre, pre-scammer Brett Favre, and having a backyard, football game, and just, found Ramondre in the end zone. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is the guy. Because we had never, ever, ever seen Mac Jones make a play like that. Ever.
Oh.
Mac Jones would have been sacked at the 30-yard line. Once again, not an opinion. It's a fact of life. So it's all good. But listen, the pros is that we found a guy. We found a guy. He accounted for 300 yards at a 315. 300 at 315. Like unreal. So he's clearly the offense. And he's clearly your best player. And once again, it goes back to what we talked about. And you fucking waited. Fuck y'all, because y'all waited.
Well, no, that's
not. Yeah,
that's
the take.
That can't be the take. You can't see what you've seen from him over the last 4 games and say, "Wow, they should have played him sooner." What you should say is,
only because he played really well. So if you're gonna lose, give me the guy that he continues to grow, and just give me that, because
listen, man,
it's too much.
He said 4 starts, right? 4 or 3, 3 or 4 starts, and already 1 concussion, and 1 concussion. So he's getting concussed a third of the time he's out there. So we don't want that to happen. That was that. That was my argument the entire time.
No, but the thing is, and you're slick, but that's why I'm here. That concussion didn't happen on the play that you thought it was going to happen on. It happened on him running out of not the line. It wasn't because of the line. He ran because he was trying to make a play, which I'm totally fine with. That's a football play. I'm totally fine with that. That happens. That can happen to any quarterback. So obviously, and you saw he switched it up Sunday, right? Instead of him sliding, I mean, he slid a couple times, but he was like, wait, I'm 6'4", 230. What am I doing? I'm not going to slide. I'm going to run into you because you can't fucking tackle me. And it worked. So I'm thankful that he was fearless. I'm thankful that he said, I'm going to play how I want to play regardless. And I'm just like, yes, in the words of Jerry Springer, turn me on. Like I was excited. I was excited to see him be fearless out there because that's what it's going to take. Leave no doubt. And yeah, we know the line is trash. I can argue that the line has looked a little bit better with him back there. And that's because he makes more things happen, out of the pocket. So, as we saw on that final play. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, he's been awesome. But like you said, give some of the cons. I don't really have 1,000 cons. The cons is just how bad the fucking defense is.
How are they so bad? How?
Well, I mean, listen. Okay, so if we take the emotion out of it, no Peppers, no Duggar, no Barmore, no Bentley. So okay, right? Analyst wise, yes. When you're losing that much of the defense, of course you're not going to be what you were. But if you were a defensive player as a coach, like you're a player, you were a player, right? You played, so he was a defensive player, he's a linebacker, and you were working with Steve Belichick on the defense the last several years, and they were guys were decent. So you go from that to that became your calling card to now you're in that position that you're at the helm, you're the head honcho, and the defense looks like me at a YMCA flag football game. It's fucking insane, and I'm over it. And shout out to I forget who wrote it on Twitter, but it's like shout out to the people that's calling out Jerome is saying, hey, he's not getting enough critique or criticism, for not having his defense ready. Once again, I'm not putting on DeMarcus Covington because this is his first go around at this. And he's been in the organization the last 7 years, so he hasn't really had that much responsibility in organization until now. So, this is him taking his lumps and being, getting better one game at a time, one possession at a time. But for Mayo, it's like, bro, like you've been on that side of the ball as a player and then now as a coach. You got to be better in that regard. Like, and once again, it sucks that your OC is inept as well. But it's like, damn, bro, like something's got to give at that moment. And that's why I understand why people were calling for his head. It wasn't about not wanting him to succeed, but it's like, bro, if you're not learning from the mistakes in week 9, like what are we doing? But
Right.
let me ask you this. Do you think they should have went for 2 when they tied it? I mean, when they scored at the end? Because that's gonna be all week. So do you think they should have went for 2?
No.
Why not?
What has this offense done or to prove to you that they could have picked up whatever yards they needed to do that?
I think you run a naked boot. I think Drake could score. But I understand. I understood the premise behind it. What I'm thinking of, you already have players thinking, man, we're not aggressive. Man, we don't do this. Man, we don't do that. You're not going to the playoffs anyways. You're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to the Super Bowl. Why not just throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it, let's go win it? Because maybe you invigorate them in that moment. They say, you know what? All right, our coach believes in us to get it done. Fuck it, let's go do it, fellas. And then they get the 2-point conversion. Once again, when the same play they ran to Stevenson last week would have worked perfectly. Shout to the left, shallow cross out to the left, boom, touchdown. I mean, 2-point conversion, game over.
I just think that there are only a couple coaches in the NFL that actually have the autonomy to make that call, and I don't think Mayo has it. So I think that call came from above. I don't think it's Mayo's.
The call? You telling me that Robert Kraft got on the call and said go for the tie?
No. But no. There's but every team has their stat geeks now, right? Like that's a popular phrase. Like I don't think that. I think there are 2 coaches in the league that have the complete autonomy to do whatever they want to do, and as far as 2-point conversions, and that's John Harbaugh and that's Dan Campbell. But also,
now Sean Payton.
I think he'll. I
mean, maybe not that roster, but still.
But he tends to play the percentages anyway too.
Yeah.
So, I I don't know. Like I'd rather be on on right now killing Mayo about the fact that it's very clear why he wasn't a defensive play caller
Yeah.
for the Patriots because he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to he
I
doesn't know
don't
how
know.
to even talk about the scheme. But I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question: had they gone for it and they missed, would you would be okay sitting here saying at least they tried, or would you be saying just take the fucking points, always take the points?
I'd like to think that because I'll use this as an example. I remember when Brian Dable took over in New York, right? And matter of fact, it was against Tennessee. How ironic! It was against Tennessee. They're on the road. They're on the road. I think in Tennessee, they get a play where they score in the last seconds, and Dable says, "We're getting out of here with the win." That propelled their season. They go on 10-7. So, and he was a rookie head coach. Didn't have any cachet either. But it sends a message to your locker room saying, let's go. Let's go and have another week where we go out there and we steal a game. The offense was rolling at that moment. Let's go out there, get the job done, get on that plane and go home, right? And let's have another victory Monday. So I think there's something to be said about that. As the fan, yeah, they're probably we're always going to second guess, right? There's always going to be that armchair Monday morning, Monday night quarterback, which we're doing right now. Fine,
One
but
of my
once
favorite
again,
hobbies.
he's in a position where it's like, bro, you're not. And once again, a lot of people are still looking for the tank, anyways. People still saying tank for Travis, tank for Will Campbell. So if you lost, fans would have been hot. Not every fan. Once again, fans like me that still want them to win a game might have been somewhat annoyed, but I'd have been like, I would have been annoyed, but I would have respected the decision because I'm like, finally, it'd be like you're showing some signs of like, okay, I am looking to win. I want to be aggressive. I believe in this team despite our shortcomings on both sides of the ball. I wanted us to see if we can go out there and win the game. I thought we could. We fell short. That happens. That's the game. Next question. Boom. I'd be cool with that. But you sound robotic when you say, percentages and I just wanted to, I thought it was the right call at the time, hindsight is 2020. No, just go out there, say win the game. Go out there. Because now it's saying if you convert, team players are riding high. Players that were out of it before, and now they start to get a little swagger to them. That matters. It matters. So
I
I,
just have two
I think
like just two similar scenarios, and one that I can prove because we were on the air together over the last 12 months. Like I just feel like I do agree with your premise of that you need to obviously just try and win. But I was also on this show with you after Dan Campbell did that against the 49ers. And you
mm.
said, just take the points, dude. What are you doing? Just take
I
the
mean,
points.
in that moment, because it's the playoffs, yes. Like in that moment, you have to. And once again, this is regular season, a game that doesn't mean much. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, context definitely matters for sure. So I'm glad you brought that up. In that moment, yeah, you have to, because once again, I know they've been doing it all year, right? And
Yep.
which is why you did it, obviously. But in that moment, you're looking to get to the Super Bowl. It wasn't like you could come back for week 10 or week 11. You're going home. You have to do it. You have to make sure you take the sure thing or the more sure thing. And then if you reassess things and say, you know what, we're rolling right now, let's go for it. That's different. He was just saying we're going to be out there, be reckless, be aggressive, and unfortunately, it cost them. But in this case here for Mayo, it's not something here that would have changed people's mindset. I think about the reward part. Had they went on it, oh, what a gusty call by Mayo. He's starting to figure it out. He's being his own man. He's being his own coach.
Okay.
I don't know. To me, and then now what you see, we'll talk about this when we talk about the week 10 picks. You see a Chicago team that's going back in reverse. They could have been you never know. So that's the
Well,
thing. It's like you could
but
have been on a chance to go for 3 wins in a row.
but
So
just to play devil's advocate, dude, I think that in that situation, Mayo was kind of in a no-win situation, right? Because if he goes for two and they miss it, he's going to say, "I was trying to win the game," which the media and all the fans would interpret as you didn't trust your defense to hold them in overtime. Which, by the way, is fucking
right.
true.
That's okay. And that'd have been fine because they
True.
didn't. Right.
Right. And then you don't go for it, and now it's you force overtime because you don't trust your offense to pick up 5 yards.
But did Bill not do that in the 4th-2 in Indianapolis?
I was just about to bring that up. How did you react to that? We were on the air. We were on the air together.
That was Sunday Night Sports Wrap.
No, that was a Morning Mayhem or a Ray in the
Yeah,
Weekend
yeah,
Hangover for those first listeners. You were, but you were pissed.
I don't know if I questioned it because he had built that cachet not for us to question at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, but once again, it was true because he said it. I remember him saying in the presser, "Yeah, I didn't think that we'd be able to stop them." Right? It's okay to say I don't think we're able to stop them. So
you've won 3 Super Bowls.
Right, but that was also a regular season game. It wasn't like that was the playoffs. He just said, "Okay."
But to your point, he built up the cachet. Mayo can't go out there and say shit like that right now because I mean, quite honestly,
it's already breaking apart.
Yeah, nobody believes that he's a good head coach. Do you?
At the moment, no. But once again, you look for censorship. Like, okay, Drake May had a censorship moment. Remember, it's funny. I thought about you immediately when that touchdown happened. I was like, well, what do you know? Week 9 of his rookie year, he already had. I mean, granted, they didn't win the game, unfortunately, but it's like he already had a signature moment before. Jeez, I was like, what do you know? Imagine that.
But a lot like Mac Jones, his signature moment did not result in a win.
True, because the defense was fucking trash.
I mean, but that Minnesota game, Thanksgiving, Mac Jones. That was Mac Jones' signature game.
He was special that night. He was
right.
He was special that night in Minnesota.
Yeah,
that was Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, defense let him down.
Yeah. So the referees, because that was a touchdown to Hunter Henry, but that's the whole other thing. But yeah, they've been getting it wrong for a while.
So by the time this airs, this will be Tuesday, November 5th, Election Day. Do your civic duty, do your thing. But that's also the NFL trade deadline. So are there any other pieces that you expect the Patriots to sell off, or is this just kind of? Do you think that they could actually get rid of a Kendrick Bourne, or get rid of a Dietrich Wise, which I will lose my fucking mind if they trade Wise.
Why though?
Because I love him. He's still young. He's not on the wrong side of 30 yet.
I feel that, but I think they're clearly in full on rebuild when it comes to the draft part. Dave and I and Bobby talked about this last week, but there's more than one way to build a team. And I understand that you want to stockpile draft picks to, get more talent. I get that. At the same time, your second round picks haven't worked recently. So Thornton, Polk, just to name a few. Excuse me. Why not trade a second to go get somebody that can help you for the rest of the season, and then keep them in the building, give them an extension. They're now part of the core going forward. I can see Goshaw being moved. I don't think Kendrick Bourne gets moved. I feel like KJ Osborne may end up getting moved, but that's just because of how I think he's just fallen out of favor in the locker room and with the coaching staff. But I think in the right situation, he can be a decent player. It just wasn't going to happen here. I feel like he needed. Ironically, I can see him going back to where he was just, well, not Minnesota, but I feel like he'd be good in Atlanta and go back to him playing with him and Kirk. I think, him and Kirk had a good connection down there. And I think Drake London just got hurt. So I feel like, they can use another body. So yeah, I think those are two guys I can think about that might get moved. But I don't know if they add anybody. They should add somebody, even if it's a small deal. Look to see if you can get like give a fifth for a lineman. I don't know, something. But they shouldn't have completely punt because, like I said, even though I didn't think they'd win more than 2 games, but if you maneuvered or found a way to get to, like you said, 6 wins, right? You're a +2 for where you were last year, wins-wise. And then now you got people looking at you differently. That's what I'm looking for this year. I'm not looking for you to go 10-7 because that's not happening. I'm not looking for you to go 12-5 because that's not happening. I'm looking, do you improve on what happened last year, despite the circumstances? And can you say, hey, can you get a free agent to look at this roster and say, okay, they missed this, they missed that, they missed this, they missed that. But if you put me here, I can do this. If you put me there, I can do that. So that's what I'm looking for. And then you go to the draft and say, okay, let me get this lineman, let me get this corner, let me get this wide receiver, whatever you want to do. And another guy I forgot to bring up because you said about who could be moved. I wouldn't be surprised if move Jonathan Jones either. I think he's probably one of the guys you can actually get something back for. So yeah, once again, I don't want to see those guys go, but at
Right.
the same time, if you don't think they could be a part of what you're doing going forward,
I mean,
then
theoretically,
it's shaky.
all they have to do is win 4 games this year for me to feel better about the team. Because if you think about this team winning the exact same amount of games without the best defensive-minded coach in the history of the NFL, without Christian Barmore, without Jabril Peppers, and with the rookie head coach, like that's pretty good. That
Yeah,
shows you that the drop off was not big, which would be a big thing, a big nail in the cross for Bill.
yeah,
But I listen. Don't This team is so bad in the sense that they they need to have a top draft pick in the first couple of rounds because, as you said, like their first 6 picks should need to be linemen. They
right.
just
Yeah, no,
they need
facts,
to be.
facts, facts. But I think for me, and I think that we've kind of spoke about this, so it doesn't hurt to revisit what I'm about to say because we've had obviously we had some of our rants recently about how it was this is year one of the rebuild. This is Bill's gone, Brady's gone, so on and so forth. And the question I wanted to pose to you was, with them still having Mayo, even guys like Covington, and then some other guys that are still in the organization, do you think they got far enough away from the Bill era to have a fresh perspective on how to build a roster, and team overall?
No, absolutely not. That's a great question, but it's a very
Mhm,
simple answer. No, they have not, because Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft, whoever's pulling the purse strings, which I still believe is Robert Kraft,
mhm,
have just taken the mold and like the assumption we're going to run this team as if Bill is still the head coach,
mhm.
but he isn't. So it's the
Right,
same personnel, guys. It- It's
right.
it's it's. I mean, everyone wants to give credit to Elliott Wolf for drafting Drake May. You don't get credit for that. He was literally
Your
you
best
had the
player
third
available.
pick. You had the third pick, and you needed a quarterback,
Right,
and he was there, right? Now, if he had taken, let's just say, I'm glad they did it, but if they had taken Penix, and Penix was the best rookie that we've seen in the last 10 years, then you get credit for thinking outside of the box. They didn't do that.
right.
Drake May was predicted to go third overall. So it's real. Elliott Wolf's first pick, in my opinion, as a New England Patriot front office, was Jalen Polk. How do you do?
I mean, as of now, terrible.
Javon Baker, how do you do?
Still waiting to get people out the wheelchair.
Right. So like this.
Right.
So no, they have not. They've not gotten far away.
I
And
mean, what's the buddy that they picked in the third round? Oh God, Landon Robinson's been okay. Keenan Wallace still jury's out on him, but Landon Robinson's been okay. Trying to think who else they got last year or this year in the draft, but Landon Robinson's probably been their best pick, which is
yeah,
sad because it shouldn't be, but he's been their best pick. We're still waiting on Cole Strange to come back. Obviously, he wasn't the pick this year, but still waiting on him to come back. Maybe he
I
helps us
think
find
if,
something,
if I
but
was if
yeah,
I was lucky enough to be the owner and decision maker for the New England Patriots, just as you would be, I think we'd both come to the agreement that anyone that's been in the front office in the last 5 years needs to be out. We need we
right,
need a
right.
1,000% fresh thinkers.
Right. And that's why. So now that like I said, I think you're coming around a little bit more of where I was at as to why I never fully thought it was the rebuild. Because if you still have guys that were involved in that process, they're basically clones and they're still going to think like the previous regime. So if you're not getting a whole brand new regime entirely, then it's still more of the same. And that's the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no fresh thinkers. There's no there's no new talent development guys. There's no Ernie Adams. There's no Dante Scarnecchia. There's no Charlie Weiss. There's no Romeo Crennel. There's no, even like we had a Brian David. There's none of those guys coming through there. So everything needed to be uprooted. And the fact that they still chose, even though albeit they chose 5 years ago to make this happen, it was, quite frankly, it was premature on Robert Kraft's behalf. There was no
Yep.
due diligence done on getting other staff in here that could help. Once again, you could have firmly did what some other teams have done, where it's like, yo, we want you to still be around. You'll be the heir apparent, but We want you to get some other experience and get some other experienced guys in here, and then we'll give the reins to you. Once again, someone brought it up. I forget who brought it up, but like Sean McVay, first thing he did was bring in Wade Phillips. First thing he did.
Right.
Once again, didn't think he was going to take his job because of that. Brian Wade Phillips, who had been the head coach, who had been very good, had very good defenses, brought him in to get that coaching experience. And the fact that they didn't do that, and like I said, the best you could do was hiring Alex Van Pelt and then, raising up DeMarcus Covington, quite frankly, is a joke. And because some of those guys may not be here at the end of the year, you're now doing Drake May a disservice. You're doing some of the guys on defense a disservice because some of those guys may not make it past next season. And then you have to learn a whole new routine and a whole new way of doing things in the building because this current regime couldn't get the job done. So it's wild.
The only silver lining to that is that if they do overhaul the OC and the DC for Drake May, my hope and assumption at this point, based on how this is not working, is that they'd bring in someone that would actually script the playbook for his strengths, as opposed to trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole.
Right. Yep. And that's the thing too. I feel like Alex Van Pelt is clearly sabotaging Drake May.
No,
Clearly.
not on purpose. I know he's not on purpose. He just doesn't have a feel for the
Well,
game.
I think some of it's on purpose. It's just like, look at you seen the first half. Him and Kendrick Bourne was cooking. Like 29 on Tennessee was looking like lunch meat out there. It was looking real sweet. Real sweet. Looking like rotisserie chicken out there. It was real sweet out there. And you don't keep running the back shoulder fade. Keep running it. He can't. The guy literally could not guard it. He literally was stuck in mud. Literally stuck in mud. So I'm just like, you don't keep going to that play or some variation. Yeah, you don't let him run a square in. You don't let him run it up and out. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? Even the play for Hunter Henry, right? On an interception, not Hunter Henry. It was a play to Booty at the end. There's a play, and once again, I hate to bring up the video game, but it's relevant because he's clearly looking at some Madden plays and putting it on his paper. Meaning Alex Van Pelt. There's a play at Madden called Levels, where you got one that runs like a 5-yard in, then a 10-yard in, 15-yard in, and then someone running a post. So Booty on that play obviously was a guy running the post. If you just have someone like Pop or someone else running across shallow, that takes the guy that ended up being the guy that doubled on Booty because he would have had to step up. So if that guy steps up, Drake's arm is going to get it to Booty. Booty had the inside leverage. He catches it. We're looking at touchdown New England ball game. But because of our inept play caller, can't have a guy run a certain route or play or scheme it up where someone's running a shallow cross. And it should have been a double shallow cross and then having Booty over the top of the post. So then you have to make a choice. So that guy makes a choice. He comes down when he should have been following Booty. Booty has the inside leverage. He catches it. It's a 40-yard gain. Now we're in business. So I don't know. I think to me, it's really wild that there's just certain plays that they have ran pretty well and they go away from it. And then certain things that could be schemed a different way and they just miss the boat every single time. It's unbelievable to me.
Sorry to step on you there, but it just makes you think that that the things that we see that are going well, it's almost like that's being ad-libbed by Drake.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and that speaks to, and shout out to Gerard Mayo for bringing this up because I love that he highlighted this about him. He said Drake does not make the same mistake twice, and we're learning that already in 4 games. So his IQ is high, his feel for the game is high. So Patriot fans alike have said on Twitter and any other platform that would let us go off, let Drake May cook. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And once again, Alex Van Pelt, your claim to fame can be, hey, we turned this guy around and turned him into a star, and you still are getting in your own way.
Right.
That's wild.
You just know how to do it.
It's terrible. You still hitching your wagon to Jacoby or anybody else that, well, listen, it's like, bro, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Like, and once again, I hope that crowd says, hey, AVP, we gave you a shot. We thank you for your year. We hope that you learned something while you were here, but we wish you the best of your future endeavors because
Love that.
it's not working.
What I also love is now that we're going to move on to one of my favorite segments. It's a callback to what we used to do back on the terrestrial airwaves back in college. It's our
Mhm.
our weekly picks. Week 10 NFL picks. Week 10 starts this Thursday night. One of my favorite games of the year. Cincinnati Bengals at Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is a 6-point favorite. Ray, who do you have here?
I'm riding with Cincinnati. I think this is the game that they get from them. I know you talked about them splitting. I think this is the game that Cincinnati gets. They do this every year in the Joe Burrow era. Like we think that they're off, they're out of it, and then all of a sudden they catch fire. Yes, it helps when you play Vegas and they're a dumpster fire themselves, but I think they gave them a 40 piece out there and on Sunday. So yeah, I think that they go in there and they find a way to beat Baltimore this weekend or this week.
Yep, I agree. I think Cincinnati's going to beat them outright. And the Sunday matchup, the first game of Sunday, is just proof that we have not forgiven the Germans for the atrocities that they committed 70 plus years ago, because they
Mhm.
get the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers live from Munich. So,
It's awesome.
who do you have here?
I really hope the Panthers win. Please, please. I really hope that the Panthers find a way to win. Like that would be awesome because you know some Giant fans have been trolling. And I'm just like, bro, we're in the same spot, literally.
On what? Like, what are they trolling?
I don't know. I think people are just so happy that New England has finally fallen from grace, so they just get whatever jokes that they want to get out there. And it's like, bro,
Yeah, but
y'all,
Giants fans should never have we could never say shit to them. They're the reason that Brady didn't win fucking 8 Super Bowls with us. You know, like who I've always hated the Giants fan base because they're the one fan base I could never talk shit to.
no, but I mean, there's always something that can be said. Because I mean, once again, them wins happen, and then it's like it literally fell off the face of the earth. Like his last 8 years of his career, they just shit. So that matters. Like I'm sorry, people can say what they want. Yeah, that's great. He won twice, and he did his thing
Against
in those
us.
games. But I'm like, yeah, I guess that's okay, cool. But I'm and I said, and the Giants fan, he laughed. He had to agree, but he was like, thankfully those two are us. But I was like, I said 7-2. We ain't talking height. Like 7-2, we're not talking hype, baby. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's
Well,
no planet
no,
where
6-2.
no, because they would talk about like Eli Manning to Brady, but I was like, I said
Oh, okay,
7-2,
yeah.
we're not talking hype. So sorry. Like, you know, that dude was special. And yes, once again, I'm giving credit. Most Patriot fans are giving credit to Eli Manning. Like he had a hell of a game, both games against us. And once again, it always takes a little bit of luck and skill to win those type of games, anyways, right? And he got the job done, so cool. But like I said, I just think that it's not just the Giants fan. I think it's Giants fans. It's Giants fans, all NFL fans. Like they were browbeat for years about just the Patriot dynasty and how good they were, and it's funny because
How
now it's
awful our fan base was.
right. So now we're starting to see that with the Chiefs because now it's like the Chiefs doing it, and it's funny because Mahomes overnight had became the media darling, and they're like, "Oh my God, Mahomes is this. He's great. He's awesome. He's the best thing since sliced bread." And now that they're winning like crazy, and the fact that he's in MVP talks and fans are getting fucking pissed about that, and I'm like, wow. I said, motherfuckers is y'all really bitter. Like, you're so really bitter. It's like, just appreciate greatness. Like, Jordan would have been getting killed now.
Oh yeah.
Like,
There's nothing
that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that I'm just like, y'all this mad? Y'all are just mad that we're watching some of the best play of all time, not just this era, but of
listen,
all
Ray.
time.
There's
I don't
one
know.
thing that American sport fans love more than dynasties, and it's tearing apart dynasties. That's what they do. That's what we love it. We love tearing things down and building them back up. Right?
Right.
I mean, the Patriots were hated from '04 to 2013. And then when they won
Mhm,
again in 2014, they're the media darlings again. Again. And then
mhm.
deflate but all that. Okay. So we both have Carolina.
Right.
Um so then we have the Patriots going into Soldier Field. Our buddy DK Sizzles 4-4 Chicago Bears after a awful loss to Arizona. Chicago is favored by 6.5 points. I think if I were a betting man, I would probably bet Chicago to win this game. But what about you?
I told you last week, I said the lucky thing is that you get to face New England in a week and get your season back going. So this will be a get right game for Chicago, and Chicago should win going away.
Yeah,
I
I
once
mean,
again,
this is literally
right.
this is their last. I mean, they're like their last winnable. Like you can just look at the schedule and say, yeah, you win that game on the Bears
Right.
calendar for the rest of the year.
Yep. So I'm hoping. I mean, I'll be clear. I hope that Drake May outplays Caleb Williams. I hope like that's the only thing I hope for. Other than that, I mean, I don't expect him to win, but I hope that Drake May comes out there 29 of 42, 320, 3 touchdowns and a pick or something like that, or and like seven rushes, 60 yards and a
With 7
touchdown.
slides.
Yeah, right. 7 slides, right. Yeah, I'm okay with him running over people too, because I said it works. He's 230. He's a big
Sure.
dude. So and he's quick enough. Clearly, we saw him get away from multiple defenders. So yeah, I hope that it's a big game. I hope that's a coming out party. And yeah, I'm excited for it.
Who do you have winning?
Oh, Chicago.
All
Yeah.
right. We have
Watch.
we got the Bills going into Indy.
Oh, yeah. Buffalo should win by 20.
Yeah. Buffalo's here by
Yeah.
force. Yeah. I
Because
agree.
that team is in turmoil because of what's going on with Anthony Richardson, and unfortunately, he may not never see another down in Indianapolis. I'm trying to think of a team that he would be, good on. I'd like to see the Raiders give him a shot. Anthony Richardson, just like rebuild over there, because you could be out the limelight. You're not going to be looked at every week. I think that would be great for him to be over there and just kind of rebuild his career with someone like Antonio Pierce. I think that'd be awesome. Or even learn from Tom Brady, because once again, we can say that he's not going to be around, but dude, you're the owner. He's definitely going to be involved talking to whoever. So who better to learn from, right? But yeah, needless to say, Buffalo should win by at least, they should win by 20.
Yeah. Spread's 4, or sorry, the line's 4. So I got
No way.
Buffalo.
That's a joke. Yeah, 4. That's why.
Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City is a 9-point favorite. I think
That's too low.
I mean, listen, the Broncos are better than I thought they were going to be, but the Kansas City is still Kansas City.
Yeah, please. That's too low. Sorry. Like Bo knows, but Bo don't know nothing about no KC. And it's about to get ugly. So
the Falcons go in to New Orleans, and I talk about a team that's in absolute fucking turmoil. They just fired their coach, Dennis Allen.
Straight loss. What? But that's what I'm saying. Like it's a different thing over there. I guess how they started. They started off 2-0 and then whatever. But it just shows, hey, ownership. They get real itchy when things ain't going away. Once again, the Superdome was a great building to be in. I was out there in July, and the fans are rowdy, man. Like they love the Saints, and it's like, yo, if you're not out here doing what you need to do, you got to go. And hey, they got him up out of there. But I say that to say, we walk in, get trapped, we take over, get trapped. Atlanta wins big.
Yeah, I agree. Also, a fun programming note: New Orleans is already $73 million over the cap next year already. So they're going to be in a bad spot for a long time. The 49ers go into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay currently is trailing Kansas City on Monday Night Football 10-7. So we don't know what the record's going to be. I think, listen, San Fran is still, no matter what you think about them, they should on paper still be able to beat Tampa Bay. They're favored by 6.5 points. In Tampa, I'm gonna take
that's a respect cover, a respect bet, or whatever line you want to give them, I should say. I'll go with San Francisco, but I don't think they win by a touchdown. I think they win by 3.
Okay.
So Tampa Bay should cover.
Steelers. So Russ is cooking. They take on the Washington Commanders, the 7-2 Washington Commanders. Listen, the Pittsburgh defense is for real, but that Commander offense is also for real, and so is Jaden Daniels, like we told you he was going to be.
Where's it at? Is it FedEx or is it at?
It's at what do they call it now? It's Northwest Stadium, which is in obviously Commanders, and the Commanders are 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, FedEx Field. I'm FedEx Field. I'm gonna go with Washington. Once again, I've been the Russ supporter on this show. I just think that, when a team like that, the young team is getting those type of games at home, they're gonna be flying high. And, between what Eckler's been able to do, it's funny how Austin Eckler is, contributing really well and being healthy in a whole new spot. Funny how that goes, right? Funny how people leave. Well, I was about to say San Diego, but how you leave the Chargers and all of a sudden, oh, your body is not hurting the way it was. Now maybe because he's platooning with Brian Robinson, maybe. But you got Terry McLaurin, you got Zach Ertz. No, Zach Ertz, is he over there? Yeah, Zach Ertz is
Uh,
Washington. Yeah, he's
yeah,
over
yeah.
there. Yeah, so it's over there. So Zach Ertz, you got, they got a good amount of guys over there, skill wise. So, they're killing it. And once again, it's too hard to win the NFL week by week to say, oh, well, they just faced so and so. That's why they won. Upsets happen every week. So we can't sit here and say that a win is guaranteed. Nothing is ever guaranteed.
But the first
You know,
time since I think 1980 something that the Commanders are 7-2.
and I wanted, oh no, they didn't win in 1980, but those teams they had them reloaded. So
The Joe Gibbs
um
years, yeah.
Jordan, so our Mark, I don't think Doug Williams was the coach then, but they had Theismann, John Riggins, so Darryl Green back in the days, like they had a team. So they won 3 in 10 years. So, I think some fans down there are starting to get hype about that. I see you, Bernard. It's my
I mean,
guy.
they
He's
should be. Jaden Daniels is fucking for real.
Yeah, like, but mostly I feel like, you're not wrong to show for this. Although I said that Drake May should be the guy that we picked, I figured that Jaden Daniels would be someone that was gonna be good. I didn't think they would be this good with
Right.
him at
I
the
know,
helm
I know
on the
that
way.
because you picked them to win 5 games this year.
Yeah, yeah. Because I just felt like the team around it was gonna be struggling. But hey, give him credit. They're not winning the Super Bowl, but they're gonna go. They may win a playoff game, and that's huge for them. They're clearly the Houston Texans of this year. Clearly,
Yeah.
and yeah, but yeah, they find a way to get it done on Sunday. It'll be
Uh,
close.
Minnesota at Jacksonville. Minnesota is a 4.5-point favorite. I think that's too low. I would take Minnesota
Well,
to
yeah,
win.
also it's too low. Once again, you get Hawkinson back now. They came off a good win Sunday night against Indianapolis. You get Hawkinson back. You got Jefferson. Aaron Jones has been formidable as he's been his whole career. Minnesota should win this going away. 4.5 is a joke. That's wild. Now, if the game was in London, where it's like, Jacksonville's second home, I might have thought otherwise. But if whether it's in Duval, whether it's at US Bank, whether it's in the Orange Bowl, it doesn't matter. Minnesota should be winning that game.
I agree.
They're pretty handily.
Tennessee at LA for the Chargers. The Chargers are 7.5-point favorites. Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers to win. Once again, Tennessee could run the ball. I mean, then again, most people can run the ball against New England, but Tony Paul is a running back. So I don't want to dismiss what he is as a talent, but their quick momentum ends Sunday.
Yeah.
LA is the much better team. They also, they just smacked Cleveland on Sunday as well. So I think today are looking to get into, mid-season form and stuff that playoff push now too. So
The Eagles are flying high as they travel to Dallas. Philly is a 7.5-point favorite going into Dallas. Also, fun fact, Dak Prescott will be missing at least a few games. So, I mean, the Eagles, right?
for sure. And can we talk about that Saquon Barkley play?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
like
Unbelievable. I mean, I would
that,
prefer if he never does that again because he's my running back. But yeah, that
yeah,
was fucking unreal.
well, I'm like, I've not seen a play like that from a running back in a while, if ever, especially going backwards. Like that's fucking wild. I still can't get over John Mara. And how did you think this guy wasn't worth re-signing? And not only you let him go within division to Philadelphia, right down I-95 railroad.
He didn't even have to sell his house, bro. He can
That's
still.
yeah, exactly. Because you're right, because they're in Jersey. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. He could have moved right to Cherry Hill, which is really right outside of Philly. So I'm like, wow.
Bad.
That's unbelievable that you let that happen. And now he's giving everyone, in the words of Shady McCoy, he's giving crazy work, giving everybody crazy work. And, they're starting to look formidable again. Obviously, AJ Brown had been out and, Smith had been out, but now the weapons are back and, they're looking good. So yeah, they should win this. I mean, even if Dak was playing, like Philly's a better team. Because it's not nothing to do with who's in and who's out. And as Zach Prescott said, and very friendly, I may add, we fucking suck, bro. You do. You suck right now. You're trash.
You do. You're bad.
Yeah.
And I think that this could potentially be Mike McCarthy's final game as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys if they lose it.
It should.
Depending on how they lose, which yes, I don't want anyone to lose their job. They should always be able to earn a living, but his contract is guaranteed, so he's still
Right.
paid.
Exactly. So that's okay. Yeah. Happy
We
holidays.
have the Jets traveling to Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are 1-point favorites, so it's basically a pick 'em. I'm probably gonna take the Jets in this game.
Really?
Aaron Rodgers loves playing in Arizona. Loves it. He
Oh,
always does well there.
yeah. There's no Jeff Janis this time though. He also likes fumbling at the end of the game too.
Sure does.
So I'm listen. Clearly, Arizona switched to famine. Clearly, they. I can't believe that they smacked Chicago like that this weekend. I thought that they would lose for sure. I still don't believe that the Jets would do anything going forward. It was cute that they won last week, but I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna ride with Arizona. I think Arizona they went on the game winning field goal. 27-24.
And now Sunday Night Football in a game that if before all the injuries, like this was the marquee game of this week. Now it's turned into this is a put up or shut up time for Houston. The Detroit Lions travel to Houston to face Houston Texans. Detroit's favored by 3. I'm going to take Houston. I just believe in CJ. And
So I believe
this isn't a knock on Detroit, by the way.
No, sure. I believe in CJ too, but I believe in Detroit more.
Yeah, they are a wagon, dude. They are such a fucking wagon.
When Houston lost that game a few weeks ago, I was like, yeah, you can't. I can't take you seriously at this moment. So I think they're going to have a great game. I think that CJ comes out and balls. Losing Diggs is huge, obviously, because he's been a big part of the offense, and he's a big time player when healthy. And as a contributor. But listen, Detroit is on in a major way. What up, Dove? they're on in a major way, and everybody in the 3-1-3, but like they're killing it. So I think the train keeps rolling come Sunday. They find a way.
Final game of the week: Miami Dolphins travel to LA to play those pesky Rams. The Rams are 2.5-point favorites. I like Sean McVay. I love what he's doing with this team, especially with all the injuries. So give me the Rams at home.
How about it? Like, listen, how you felt about what quarterback we just talking about? You talking about CJ? That's how I felt about Matt Stafford. I'm a Matt Stafford guy. Like what a throw! What a throw to win the game! Like just unbelievable, right? And I'm like, oh. I know Chiefs fans are looking at that like, really, DeMarcus Robinson? Because this you weren't doing this. You weren't doing this in Kansas City. So I mean, hey, what a catch, what a throw. And like I said, it looks like they're getting healthy at the right time. They didn't let go of Cup. Puka Nacua is now back and able to go for them. So yeah,
as long as he doesn't throw another punch and get ejected, he'll be fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So then you got Kyrie Williams in the backfield. So yeah, like they have some pieces there. Obviously, they just have to stay healthy. But yeah, that was a huge win for them last week in Seattle. But yeah, I'm riding with them. I'm riding with the Rams. Once again, it brings me great joy. Obviously, not to see Tua get hurt because that's ridiculous. But for Dolphins to be 2-6 warms my heart because a lot of y'all talked crazy shit to me when I lived down there, and you haven't stepped anything since Dan Marino was in Bad Boys 2. You should totally get this one. I'm gonna fuck this up, Dan. But so they gonna fuck it up on Sunday because they're not where they're supposed to be. But it's a wrap. So Miami Dolphins are not number one. That's just all they're saying down there at the game. They're not number one. They're going down, and it warms my heart to see them going a downward spiral. It's just great. It's awesome. So go Rams.
Love that. All right. That'll do it for this episode of MTP Boston. Thank you so much for listening. For Rayshawn Buchanan, this is Michael Marcangelo saying thank you. Stay tuned for the Power Ranking show later this week, but we will talk to you next week.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go, get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost. I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it. Electrocast. Electrocast.